In this quest, we will explore the algebra of functions. We have introduced function notation in our previous course material. This time, we will be discussing about the algebra of functions. And this Edpuzzle module has been designed to help students to identify ways of representing a function and its parts, and evaluate a function, also perform operation on functions, define and illustrate composition of functions, perform composition of function, and also solve problems involving function. And based from your learnings in the previous course material, when is a relation considered a function? But before we answer that question, we have pre-activity rules here. There are 3 instructions that you must follow. So the links are given sa Edpuzzle notes. Please check dun sa link, dun sa Edpuzzle para ma-access ninyo. So these are the prerequisite concepts for this lesson. Ano yung mga kailangan nyo munang matandaan, ano kailangan nyo ninyong ma-review bago tayo mag-proceed sa lesson na to. And I want you to provide these 3 columns. I know this already, the first one. Kapag sa second column naman, familiar na kayo pero kailangan nyo pang matutunan yung bagay na to. Also, I learned this today. So I want to see ano ba yung progress ninyo for this today's quest. Okay? So let us proceed. Now, based from your learnings in the previous course material, when can we say that an equation is a function? So in this case, we will recall function notation. And as you can see, we have in function notation, we have English alphabet representation, and also we are using Greek character. So in this case, f of x equals y. F is the function name. X is the input or independent variable. The y is the dependent variable. So we have to take note of these parts. And let's say if we have the function y equals 3x plus 4, then it can be written as this notation. Okay, so we have this notation. By the way, y is the dependent variable, x is an independent variable. Same lang din naman kapag isulat natin as ganito, no? In this notation, you have to remember that f of x means the value of f at x. Okay? It does not mean f multiplied x. Okay? Hindi po product yan, no? Next, B. Kailangan nyo matandaan na ang letter or other than f, no? Letter other than f can be used, no, like G, like H, capital G, capital H, no, dito sa ating f, sa function name. And C, f is the name of a function and f of x is the value of the function at x. No, we have to take note that the function notation f of x equals 3x. This function notation has an advantage over the notation y equals 3x plus 4 as far as evaluation is concerned. So, much beneficial itong form na to kaysa dito kapag ka nag-evaluate tayo. So, we label them, no, like same dito naman sa taas, label or name of the function. Also, the function notation is x and the independent variable is also x din, no? So, same lang din naman ang kanilang parts. And in this notation, you have to remember these things. Ito yung mga sinabi ko kanina. Okay, yung characteristics ng f of x. Okay? So, moving on, we have we have focus questions na kailangan ma-address. Number 1, do you have always get a number as a result in evaluating a function? 2, what are the operations on functions? Okay, let's answer by defining this topic. So to evaluate f at the number, we substitute the number for the variable or placeholder. So x as placeholder. In the definition of a function, the independent variable x plays the role of a placeholder. So x is just like an input, just like the thing that you will plug into the original equation, or x as a placeholder. Also, let's try an example for this given function. F of x equals 2x minus 5. Let x be the following values. So these are the values of x, the inputs. So, ito yung pa-plug in natin dito sa original equation. So, ang placeholder natin dito, kung ito yung original equation, plug in natin sa 0 dun sa x. Kaya siya naging 0 dyan, minus 5. So, 2 times 0, that is 0. So, which left us f of 0 equals negative 5. And this will be the final solution in this particular input. Okay? The input is 0, the output is negative 5. Also, we have x equals 3. Plug in natin si 3 sa original equation. So, we have 2 times 3 minus 5. So, we have 2 times 3, we know that is 6. No, minus 5, that would be positive 1. So, the 3 is the input and the output would be 1. Okay? So, that's it. Another one, we have x equals negative 1. Let's try negative numbers. So, the input is negative 1. 2 times negative 1. Palitan natin tong x ng negative 1 minus 5. So, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 5, let's bring it down. Then, simplify. Negative 2 times negative 5, that is negative 7. So, negative 1 is an input, and the output would be negative 7. And whether your answer is in fraction form or decimal form, both will be accepted. So, let's try this one. X equals 1/4. So, when you have an input 1/4, so we have 2 times 1/4 minus 5. Ganun lang din yun, no? That is equal to 1/2. 2 times 1/4 is 1/2 minus 5. Then we simplify. It will become 1 minus 10 in the numerator over 2. Then, we simplify this one. We have negative 9 over 2. Just remember to put in its simplest form if your final answer is in fraction form. So, negative 9 is 2 ay simplest form na. Therefore, that will be our final answer. Example number 2. So, given the function f of x equals x plus a, find the following. Okay, in this case, we note that when you evaluate a function, the result doesn't always end up to be a real number. Like kanina, no? Mga real number yun. It depends on the value that you substitute. So, for example, dito gagamit tayo ng mga variable naman. No? So, if you have a variable in your substitution, most likely, you'll still have a variable on the final answer. So, ibig sabihin, we will expect na variable din ang ating final na sagot. So, let's try f of negative x. That is our input. Plug in natin sa original equation. That is negative x. Quantity negative x. No, para makita lang natin kung paano pinlog in. Plus 8. Then, we simplify. That is the final answer. Or this is the final answer. Negative 8. Or negative x plus 8. Okay? So, next. Moving on. This, meron tayong dalawang term dito. Plug in natin sa x. Then, we have x. F of x plus 3 equals x plus 3 plus 8. Then, we remove the parentheses. Then, simplify the coefficients. 3 plus 8. That is x plus 11. And that's it. You know, this will be our final answer. And what if we have this kind of example na piecewise function naman siya, no? As you can see, piecewise function, the difference, ito kasi mayroong restriction dito, no? So, we will just find f of negative 4 and f of 3. So, evaluate natin yan. So, dito, ang ibig sabihin lang naman dyan, for example, ang sasagutan natin is f of negative 4. Titingnan natin yung yung x, yung restriction. So, ano ba yung negative 4 ba ay less than kay 0 or greater than kay 0 or equal kay 0? Kasi kapag na-meet naman niya yung restriction or yung condition, then pwede mong gamitin yung equation niya. Okay? So, like this one. For f of negative 4, since negative 4 is less than 0, that is true, no? Si negative 4 ay mas maliit kay 0, we use f of x equals x squared plus 2. Yung sa taas na equation. Okay? Kasi nandun yung restriction, no? Ngayon, pinlog in natin yung negative 4 sa taas na equation, x squared plus 2. Then, negative 4 squared, okay, plus 2. then simplify negative 4 squared, that is 16 plus 2, then that is 18 for our final answer. The input is negative 4. Since pasok siya dun sa restriction, ginamit natin to equation, ang naging kanyang output ay positive 18. Okay? That's it for negative 4. Also, we have f of negative 3. I mean, f of positive 3. Rather. So, since 3, we all know 3 ay mas malaki kay 0, 3 is greater than 0, we use f of x equals 5x plus 2. Then, since f of 3, ipa-plug in natin yan dito sa babang equation. So, magiging 5 times 3 siya, plus 2. Then, we simplify this. 5 times 3, that is 15 plus 2. Then, the final answer or the final output is 17. If you have input 3, we all know 3 is greater than 0. Ito yung gagamitin mo. At ang kanyang magiging output ay 17. That's it. Now, let's work out for this first activity. Evaluate the given function f of x equals 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. Then we solve for x equals 0, x equals negative 4, x equals negative 12, x equals 1 plus a plus b. Okay? So, try to write all your answer in the ed puzzle. Choose the correct answer. Like real numbers, functions can be added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided. Since functions are usually presented in equation form, as we perform this operation, we do them algebraically. And for all values of x for which both f of x and g of x are defined, we have the following. For the sum, this is the format. For the difference, this is the guidelines. Also product and quotient. In this quotient, I want to give this detail. The denominator will not be equal to 0. Okay? So, bakit kaya, no? Why is there a restriction on the second function when getting the quotient of f of x and g of x? In the definition, it is important to note that the restriction with the quotient of the two function f and g, the second function or the denominator of the equation for f over g of x should not be equal to 0. Because ang mangyayari dyan, kapag nag-equal kay 0 yan, magiging undefined ang ating sagot. Okay? Also, in this topic, we can also determine the domain and range of the function formed when they are combined or when we perform algebraic operations on them. So that is how important it is, our topic today. And for us to be guided, I prepared 2 videos for you guys. So, I was able to create an addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of function. Okay? So, things that will you operate functions. So, you will just watch the video in the given link dun sa Edpuzzle. Also, I will provide the links dito sa ating YouTube video. And dito mayroon tayong instruction. Comment down your name and sections for your attendance and habitica points. Also, you have to follow this format, surname _ section, dun sa YouTube comment section para makita ko kung nandun kayo sa video na yun. And then after this videos, kapag napanood nyo na, balik kayo sa Edpuzzle, then answer the given problem. So, after nyo magawa yun, ito yung gagawin nating pangalawa. Let's work out 2 for your habitica points. Okay, so that is true or false. And as we can see, we will continue this lesson on the next part of our quest. Okay, good luck to your activity. See you in our next mission.